G'day guys, welcome back to Alliance Wars. This is season 59, episode 7. So we've continued our winning streak. We actually got a very narrow win against Chaos. We actually won on time. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen sometimes. So having a short, less fight duration is good sometimes for these close situations. We've got 5 fights in today's war, so same as the last few wars. We're against Fae. Typical Masters Alliance. They are sit 1 rank below us in Masters right now, so definitely going to be a fun challenge. Our teams are 7-star rank 4 Spider Woman, our 7-star rank 3 Galan, and our 7-star rank 4 Hood. So standard non-recoil setup. We will be using Mystic Dispersion for our Hood fights. We're definitely going to need that. And then Despair will help for our Spider Woman fights as well. So we're starting off against a Dark Phoenix. So I have fought a Dark Phoenix here before. In fact, the only time I've done this fight with Hood is when Hood was rank 3. So now Hood is rank 4, and in theory it should be easier, but Dark Phoenix made this as difficult as possible for me to solo this fight, and you'll see why. Like, she was just being super passive. I did also get pretty unlucky with the Hazard Shift at the start of the fight. We want to power start 1 because we want to get to that Fate Seal as soon as possible. By having the Fate Seal on, we reduce the chance of Hazard Shift proccing by a lot. But you can see, like, before we can get the Fate Seal, we got so many bleeds and ruptures on us. But now that we're into the loop, it's definitely better. I really wanted her to throw their special 2 because we didn't get the greatest power steal RNG, unfortunately, but she just didn't want to throw the special 2 at all. And in fact, we almost lost all our hexes. They almost detonated. And you don't want to let them detonate because then they detonate at the normal potency, but detonating them with your heavy is double potency. So unfortunately, we lost our Fate Seal and stuff, but we can get it back here with the special 2. Got some nice power steal there on that special 2, but you can see we're ticking down a lot with the bleeds. She actually dexed and then parried that special 2, which was fun. Definitely great AI there. And then I think she just, unfortunately the hexes just expired at the end there. So 28 hexes, that would have killed her, but unfortunately it did not because we couldn't refresh them in time. Gets her down to 2%, and I'm hoping this heavy would kill, and in fact it did. I think it still would have been fine if it hadn't killed, but yeah, it's definitely nice when we can bypass the immortality. Next up is a Warlock, so pretty standard fight for Galan. However, it is Hazard Shift, so we did need to rely on my buddy Marshy for some Odin buffs on us, so this will give us the 90% shot resistance, so we can hit him freely during the shock phase here. There's also Hazard Shift poison, so Galan has no way to counter the poison, so we've just got to play it safe. Do a lot of reparrying and parrying during the poison phase here, and let him throw his specials while we're not being able to hit him. But yeah, it's pretty safe matchup for Galan because Galan gets so many buffs, so the infections last for like no seconds anyway. And even if you do get infected, you can't get power drained. And if you try to get power drained, he'll just gain a bunch of harvest anyway. So it's not the quickest Galan fight, but it's definitely very safe. So we throw the special 2 here. That ends our first harvest. I thought I might as well just end it there rather than go for 1 big harvest and let the incinerates do the work. So you can see they're ticking, 9 of them are ticking for a lot there. So each tick is there just about 1300, so which is pretty nice. And I was pretty sure that one more special 1 could finish it off if we do a relic heavy and then special 1, which is what we do here. And we finish on a full yellow bar. Next up is a Thing. So I think it's the first time I've fought Thing in Alliance War, definitely this season. And we're using Spider Woman. Now I couldn't actually remember during the fight if Thing's Unstoppable was a buff or a passive. I was pretty sure it was a buff, but I didn't want to take the risk. So he wouldn't have been able to go Unstoppable in the first 30 seconds here because of fisticuffs. But I decided to just play it safe anyway, play it like a normal Thing fight. So I do bait his special here at 15 rock charges. I didn't need to bait it here. Could definitely hit him at this point, but I decided to bait it just to play it extra safe. And then make it a good habit of baiting the specials at 15 hits for later in the fight. Because you can see Fisticuffs is about to end here. He's at 9 rock charges now. There is a little bit of a problem with this matchup, and it's because of the ensnared. So the ensnared reduces his ability accuracy by 30%. And so when that happens, you can't always guarantee that he'll get a rock stack from hitting him. So that's it can get a bit iffy once he gets towards 13, 14, 15 rock stacks. But once that ensnare goes away, he has no ability accuracy reduction there. So we get our special 2 off for the retaliation, then special 1. He's at 13 rock stacks, which is a bit awkward, so I have to hit him a couple times. You can see I had to hit him 3 times in fact 4 times because of the ensnared before he actually got to 15. So you can see it was a bit of a risk there, but luckily he didn't throw that special before he got to 15. We get another bunch of power stings on, and that finishes him off because I think the first power sting was consumed by protection. Next up, we've got a Peni Parker. So next fight on path 6, yeah, Galan is just so safe for her, even though he has no way to counter the auto block. I mean, he has unblockable specials, but he has no way to counter the auto block during his basic attacks. You actually want to trigger the auto block because that's how she tries to trigger her power burn, and you just get super ramped up from that, his harvest charges. So we want her to trigger the auto block here. She does, but unfortunately I ended my combo. So we get up to 250 harvest charges here, and I was pretty confident that we could like finish this fight in one big harvest. So I think we go maybe for a special 1 and then heavy. So we're up to about 400 charges here. In fact, I go for the heavy here. We'll try to bait the special 2. You can see those power detonations just pretty much pause the whole time because we get buffs so frequently. In fact, I go for a little harvest here. I wasn't sure if this would kill, and in fact it didn't. I definitely could have hit a bit more here. But yeah, I'm not sure really why I went for that early harvest. But it's fine because we're basically ready for another harvest anyway already. So we can pretty much heavy here, and then get ready for a special 1 in a few seconds. And then the final fight of today's war is an Enchantress. So I've fought Enchantress already this season with Spider-Woman on node 12. This is node 41, arguably easier because there's power focus 2. There's pretty much no danger that she's going to get to a special 3. Unfortunately, she started with her invisibility, which is just a pain. But luckily, there's no auto block here, so we're able to remove it pretty easily. And yeah, Spider-Woman is such a good Enchantress counter. Even if she does get spells, you just can ignore them with your debilitate. So you can see I'm just hitting through them. I am removing a couple of them just out of habit. It's not really because I'm trying to. Still just muscle memory. Here, unfortunately, she gets the invisibility again. If we do miss, she does evade for a second. Unfortunately, she intercepts me there. I was trying to, I think, intercept here with special 2, which is in fact what I do. And that gets rid of the invisibility. No, it doesn't. Not sure why it didn't actually. But yeah, she gets that evade buff whenever we do miss. She also had unfazed on. And then I'm pretty confident that one more special here would get enough power stings to finish her off. And in fact it did. So that was our war for today, guys. Pretty chill one, just 5 fights, but yeah, all solos, which is very nice, what we like to see. Thank you guys for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next war. Peace out, guys.